I flew out on a one-way ticket to California on January 31st, 1995. I was 17. I didn't really tell my family that it was a one-way ticket, but I think they knew because never in the history of my life had my entire family showed up to the airport to see me off. So my brother lived in California, and he told me that I could stay with him for a couple of weeks. And I think he thought I was coming on vacation as well. And I remember when he asked me, oh, let's figure out, when I need to take you to the airport. And so I can schedule my work. And I'm like, well, sit down. I'm not going. I'm not going anywhere. So from that moment on, I just, I learned all the things that I never knew, as a child. I learned how to pay my own bills and find a place to live and take the trash out on Tuesday, and I've had every job you could possibly imagine, just trying my hand at things.
Name 5.
I used to arrange flowers for a floral shop. I trained as a pharmacy technician. I was a hostess at a morning diner. I used to, what else have I done? I worked the stock room in a warehouse. I've been an actress. I've been a waitress. I've done public relations. I was a go-go dancer. Now I'm an artist and a writer.
Your Hollywood years.
Yes.
How long were you here? What'd you do? You made movies?
I did. I did television shows, movies, music videos, commercials. I was in the first Yahoo commercial before anyone even knew what Yahoo was. That was a lot of fun. The first job I ever was booked on was actually a centerfold spread in Vanity Fair with Jerry Seinfeld and Annie Leibovitz. So I feel like, wow, I started really good.
Did Annie shoot it, or were you?
She shot it.
She shot it.
Mm-hmm. And when I was young and I didn't know Hollywood, and so I didn't know the caliber of people that I was working with, and I think that probably helped me a lot because I had no nerves involved. I was just there to hide. And so, but I think I worked every day for about 2.5 years. I loved it. I got booked right off of my headshot because at the time I was only one of very few women with tattoos that was in the business, and the only one that was thin, with nice hair.
Tattoos?
Yes.
Tattoos?
Mm-hmm.
Talk to me briefly about tattoos.
Well, I have them.
In a moment, I'll probably ask to see them.
Of course.
But when did you get them, and what motivated you, and how old were you, and what was your vision with tattoo art?
I was 18, and I got sucked into this lifestyle of these car club boys in Long Beach and the swing dancers. And I got into that. I used to sell roses to the nightclubs and to the patrons in the nightclubs and the restaurants. And so I would always kind of hang out at this one little location because I really liked the vibe, and the boys would make me set my roses down and teach me how to swing dance, and it was just a lot of fun. And a lot of them were tattoo artists or were fully sleeved, and they had this whole Sailor Jerry theme going on, the old school sailor tattoos, and I was just so enthralled by what was this all about, and and the history of it. But I got fully sleeved by the time I was 20. I haven't gotten a tattoo since I was 22.
Is that a common expression, fully sleeved?
Yes.
Among people who have tats?
I don't know. I don't have very many friends that have a lot of tattoos, so yeah.
But fully sleeved, obviously.
You're sleeved, yeah. If you're sleeved, when you're sleeved, that means that you've got your tattoos all the way up from.
What if you have tattoos up and down your legs? Would you be fully panted?
No, I think they call that a pant sleeve, actually.
They do?
Mm-hmm.
I'm a naturally curious boy.
Right.
If you were to have this conversation with just a casual friend, do they always ask to see the tattoos? They
Yeah,
do.
yeah.
You-
And I don't mind showing them at all. It's a great conversation piece, and you know, it's who I am. I mean, most people recognize me, but people will see my arm through a crowd and come and grab me. They're like, "Oh, I know who that belongs to." So
Stand up. Just stand up. And
make sure that I'm not.
now, did the fellow, the tattoo guy, design these, or did you?
I think it was a combination of both of us. I usually would go in and tell him what I wanted, and then we would draw something up together. This particular one was a huge mistake, but it turned out to be my absolute favorite.
Why was it a mistake, and why did it turn out to be your absolute favorite?
Well, I had the wrench with the angel and the devil, the wrench being a symbol of good luck in World War II when the women were building the planes and they had
That's
the
right.
Rosie the Riveter and everything.
Yep.
That was their symbol to send to their men for good luck. So, and then I had, you know, good and evil. And then I went to the artist and said, I want some Japanese wind bars, and I wanted to have this beautiful Japanese piece. And how do you explain it? It was about 5 hours worth of work, and once your endorphins kind of start kicking in, you just get tired, and I fell asleep. And I woke up and I had these big solid black bars that looked nothing like a Japanese wind bar. So I left it like that for a while, and then I went to another artist and I said, I need help with this to fix it, and we chose to bring color going vertical up to kind of take away from that. And I have had more compliments on this piece than
Exquisite. And this one?
is a compilation of a few things. There's a Sacred Heart, kind of representing religion in my youth. There's the Japanese or Chinese dragon. I don't know which one it is. I believe it's Chinese, actually. And he doesn't have pupils, and that was a symbol of loyalty and independence. And then I have water for peacefulness, and the water lilies for beauty. And then I have my little Betty Page for a diva. And I used to have James Dean up here, but I've been removing several of my tattoos.
You've removed James Dean.
Yes. I didn't want to, because this was my favorite tattoo. It's one of my first tattoos.
So why'd you remove it?
Because it was the easiest one to start with. It was black and gray. It had no color in it.
To start with? Meaning, is it your intent to remove your tattoo?
You know, I started the process I believe in 2005.
Yep.
And thank you. And it's really, really painful.
But why would you want to remove them?
You know, I just, once you become a mother and your life changes and you go from being, you know, I used to always want to be the center of attention and just all eyes on me, and then you become a mother and you realize it's not all about you. And then you just all of a sudden want to be a fly on the wall, and that's very difficult to do.
Lots of mothers have beautiful tattoos.
Yeah, I just, you know, I kind of just had it all of a sudden became very common, and you know, and I had done it more as a rebellion. Speaking of James Dean, I mean, all growing up I was called Jenny Dean, oh, you're a rebel without a cause. And I thought I had no idea what they were talking about. I thought they were talking about Jimmy Dean the Sausage King, and I couldn't figure out why they were calling me that.
Differences.
Right. So, you know, and then I learned about, you know, James Dean, who was a fellow Hoosier, and so
Would you like to see my tattoos?
Do you have any?
Well, maybe could be for another visit.
Right.
Indeed. Are those the only ones you have?
Mostly my arms. I have a few on my back, and I have one on my leg.
Can I see your back?
I have one that I'm removing. There's really not a whole lot to show, but I'll show you if you'd like.
I'd be curious.
Sure. I have one up here that I've been removing.
What does POPs stand for?
That one was for my father.
Oh, it's literal.
Mm-hmm. The first tattoo I ever got is actually down a little bit lower, and it's a heart with a banner that says Mom. And I got that because I figured of all of the people who were going to be upset with me for getting a tattoo, it would be my mother, so I figured she couldn't say anything if I got it for her.